do video games need to be open world to succeed in 2022? Kelvin, so far this year, the major titles that have been released, Pokemon Legend Arceus, Horizon Forbidden West, and Elden Ring, have all been received incredibly well by players. All these titles have one thing in common. They're all open world. From Software and Pokemon, first time going true open world. So this raises the question, do games need to offer some type of open world aspect moving forward?
No.
That's a great question, by the way, after that by me. I'm just going to let
you just pat yourself on the back there. Mike, on the flip side, what does successful mean to you? Like, what does a game need to be successful, right?
I think it needs to have players they can't get enough of it. Like when that game first drops, they want to just keep playing it and just can't. They just keep talking about it. Like everyone right now is talking about Elden Ring, right? When Legends Arceus came out, everyone was talking about Legends Arceus. Horizon Forbidden West, everyone talked about it for a week.
For like a hot second, dude.
for a week.
Elden Ring fucking came out of nowhere and just fucking demolished it.
So take Breath of the Wild, right? Like that came, and first, I want to say something that I might get flack for.
Oh shit.
I can't stand now, although I feel like it is unavoidable, that people compare so many games to Breath of the Wild.
I mean, we do it too. All the time.
I know. I'm 100%, but I think at this point it's like, all right, well, they broke a barrier where you want to go do that thing, but there were games before Breath of the Wild that let you do that, right? Look at Elder Scrolls. Look at
they were open world, sure, but
they were open
not
world
to the extent of what Breath of the Wild did. That broke barriers. That is a gold standard.
They said, okay, you want to go there, you can go there. You have the ability to go there.
Right.
There wasn't any loading screens. It was just straight, just like the map is just interactive. Do what you got to do.
Climb anywhere you wanted to.
But not every single game does that now, right?
Right. Which is why Breath of the Wild is always compared with, right? Because nothing has topped it since Elden Ring.
Do you think Elden Ring topped it?
Well, it's the closest I think it's gone to getting to what, Breath of the Wild is, right? I feel like that's the closest we've ever gotten to amazing open world experience like Breath of the Wild.
So I guess that's a question, right? Is for games to become this S tier and to be insanely successful, do they need to open the world?
No. I think you answered your own question a little bit earlier where when I asked you what does a game need to be successful with, right? Well, or what does a game need to do to be successful? That right there, you were like, oh, well, I think the game needs to have something that makes you want to keep playing that game, makes you like doesn't want to stop, right? So great, right? I think I can think of a handful of games that they're not open world, but I could not stop thinking about it. Returnal, perfect example. Like not open world whatsoever. If anything, it's the most linear game that I've played this year or last year. But it made me want to play that game over and over, and it had that Elden Ring or Souls kind of like gameplay where you keep constantly die, but you want to keep playing and keep playing and get better. So I think the gameplay loop, if anything, is the defining factor in what makes a game successful.
And it doesn't not necessarily
the open world, because the open world obviously it could be a top tier like Breath of the Wild, like Elden Ring, and that is definitely a caveat, or that is definitely like something that makes it stand out from other games, but it does not need to be open world to be successful. If anything, I think we're oversaturated with open world games. Everyone's trying to do the same thing. Everyone's trying to have an open world experience.
Right. I mean, you look at Assassin's Creed, you look at Spider-Man, you look at Days Gone. I mean, these are just a couple of games that all have these open world. And I think what makes Elden Ring specifically, and I would say even Legends Arceus, Horizon, I don't really have a ton of experience right now, is that it doesn't feel like you're constantly doing like a fetch quest or side quests, right? It doesn't tell you, these games don't tell you how to play the game. They say, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Literally, like, we're not going to say like, talk to this merchant and he's going to make you go, give me 5 horses fur or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Horses fur. Okay.
I don't know. Like, give me wolf pelts or
give
something.
Give me 10 horse manures and I'll give you this gold coin.
Right, exactly. Like that kind of
Fuck
stuff.
you,
and
guy. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, but that stuff gets so monotonous and boring. And I think that's what makes a game super successful in the open world. I don't care if the game's open world, but now I have a million markers on my map that say side quest, side quest, side quest, side quest, side quest. You know, like I don't want to do that.
And that's what I mean with like Elden Ring has none of that, right? Breath of the Wild had some of that, but not really. You know, when you talk about Assassin's Creed, that's when it gets like Ubisoft is very known for just bombarding your map with shit to do, right? And they're 9 times out of 10, they're just shit. Like store, like you know what I mean? There's just complete shit. It's just garbage shit. It's just like, why do I need to do this?
The stank you put on that, it was 100% true. It's just garbage to keep you in the game longer.
Yes,
if you think about it, it's the same thing as social media. Some social media, right?
Yeah.
It keeps you. You're scrolling through, and it's just garbage, but it's there to keep you more engaged inside and keeping your time into the thing. So I think that you said that perfectly. It's just garbage.
Yeah. So that's just, and then another game, going back to the question, another game that was super successful that we both didn't try was Sifu, right? Not an open world game. It just came out, but everyone has been raving about it because of the gameplay loop that it has and the constant like, okay, this is a game that is very challenging, but also very addicting, and I want to keep playing. And that's what makes it successful, right? Just the fact that it has a gameplay loop that people want to continue to try over and over and over.
Yeah, I think we hit the nail on the head, right? It's like, no, it doesn't necessarily need to be an open world to succeed, but it needs to have engaging gameplay. It needs you to be invested in the game.
Yeah. And even if a lot of games are trying to do, this has been happening for several years now, like, right? Like, I think once developers started realizing like, oh, open world games sell. Oh, let's make everything open world now, right? They quickly started to realize, okay, this is hard, 1, and 2, this is not something that everyone likes. 1, because you can't just throw people out in this open world and then start throwing a bunch of side quests and shit to like do, because it just gets boring. It gets, and then it just got oversaturated with so many open world games that people got fatigued, right? And there has to be a happy medium, right? For you to like, if you want to make an open world game, for you to succeed, you have to have a happy medium of like, okay, let's make this open world, but let's make these side quests, or let's make this open world engaging and alive for you to actually feel like
that's it. You have to make it feel alive, and you're rewarded by like venturing, right? Yeah. Like, okay, I have a mission to do. I think I know where to go, but if I go here, you give the player that sense of like wonder.
Yeah.
That's what you need, is like, if you're going to do open world, you need that wonder. And if you can't provide that wonder, don't do the open world.
Yeah. I think Horizon, the amount I've played with it so far, does a fantastic job of making you feel like you are in this world. Everything from just the leaves blowing, the animals just kind of running by you, the NPC, even some of the side quests that you get in that game, they don't feel like just side quests. They feel like actual parts of the game that help build your character or help build a connection with that NPC. So these side quests are very fleshed out, and that's what keeps you engaged, right? You're like, okay, I see this guy needs help, but like one example for an NPC that I did like a side mission for was he is like a welder or something, and some of his friends got stuck inside a mine, and you have to help them. You have to save them.
Mhm.
So you go in there and you're trying to, it's kind of like flooded with water. So you're trying to like dive and stuff like that. And then you see like the two that are stuck, and that whole process I had to. There was like a little trick to trying to get them out of there, like a little, I don't know, something there. But it was fun to do because it felt like I was engaged and I was doing something purposely, purposeful.
Yeah, and that's the difference between these types of games, right? Is that it gave you that simple. And what's going to happen? Yes, Elden Ring may have taken your attention,
Yeah.
For the time right now.
But I'm going back.
You're going to go back. You're going to go back to Horizon because it just, this game is a fucking grenade. It was a freaking, But yeah, that's the answer. Is no, you do not need an open world to succeed in 2022. What is over is gameplay itself. But if you do an open world, you got to make it engaging.